We all think that winning is about finding this massive surge of motivation. But what if that's completely wrong? The truth is, you don't actually need more motivation. What you need is more leverage over yourself. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can psychologically condition yourself to win, on demand.
So, let's get right to it. Who's the real enemy here? It's not your boss. It's not your competition. The single biggest thing standing in your way is that little voice inside your head that hesitates, that debates, that negotiates with the hard stuff. It's the part of you that will choose comfort over progress every single time, if you let it. And that means the battle you're really fighting isn't out there in the world. Nope, it's an internal conflict. And to win it, you've got to understand the two conflicting selves that are constantly at war inside your own mind. Think about it like this. You're basically two different people living in one body. You've got present you, whose number one job is to seek comfort and get that quick, easy dopamine hit. And then there's future you. That's the part that dreams big, that wants greatness, and demands real long-term results. The problem? They're almost never on the same page.
Every single day, your present self is pulling off a little heist, stealing success right from under the nose of your future self. And how does it do it? Oh, with these tiny, seemingly harmless actions. The endless doom scrolling, putting off that one important task, overthinking until you're totally paralyzed, and just avoiding the thing you know you should be doing. Each one feels small, but it's a vote for comfort today, and it's paid for by the success of tomorrow.
So what's the fix? Well, it's not about trying to become some kind of superhuman with infinite willpower. That's just not realistic. It's about a strategic shift. It's about designing a system, an environment, where your weaker, comfort-seeking self doesn't even get a vote. You literally rig the game in your own favor.
And that brings us right to rule number 1. You have to rig the game. This is all about building an architecture of control, an environment where doing the right thing isn't some heroic choice you have to make, it's just the only option on the table.
Now, this might sound a little controversial, but it is a fundamental truth. The most successful people on this planet do not wake up every day and just hope they feel motivated or rely on having strong willpower. That's a total recipe for failure, because, let's be honest, feelings come and go.
So what's their secret? What's the hack? It's this. They completely eliminate the need for in-the-moment decision-making. They get that when you're faced with a choice between doing something hard and doing something easy, your brain is wired to pick easy. So, they just take the choice off the table from the very beginning.
This is the core philosophy right here. Every single choice you have to make is an open door for your weaker self to negotiate an excuse. Structure, on the other hand, creates power. It gives your brain clear, simple orders, and our brains absolutely love to follow clear orders.
Okay, so how do you actually do this? You build what's called a zero negotiation environment. It's 3 simple steps. First, you decide what you're going to do way in advance. Second, you turn those decisions into rock-solid, non-negotiable rules. And third, to really lock it in, you attach real, tangible consequences for breaking those rules.
Just think about someone like Kobe Bryant. He didn't wake up at 4 a.m. and ask himself, do I feel like training today? No way. The decision was already made. He didn't have some vague intention like, I'll work out today. He had a non-negotiable rule. I train at 6 a.m., period. There's no debate, there's no vote, it just happens.
Rigging your environment, that's half the battle. But the other half, that all happens right up here, between your ears. Rule number 2 is all about rewiring the way you think about the work itself, especially when it starts to get really tough.
Your brain is naturally wired to see discomfort as a threat, as a big red stop sign. You have to reframe that. What if discomfort isn't a signal to stop? What if it's a milestone? This is that David Goggins mindset. Discomfort is simply the feeling of growth. It is hard proof that you are pushing your boundaries and doing something that actually matters.
Okay, now for an idea that might feel a little weird at first. Stop chasing goals. Yeah, I know. We're told our entire lives to be goal-oriented. But goals by themselves are surprisingly weak. They're fragile. They can be shattered by a bad mood or one simple distraction.
The real leverage, the real power comes from this. Instead of chasing an outcome, you focus on building an identity. See, an identity is permanent. A goal to make a certain amount of money is fragile. But deciding I am the type of person who executes every single day, that builds a standard. That engineers who you actually are.
This question, This is your new operating system. I want you to burn it into your brain. Anytime you feel yourself starting to hesitate or negotiate or procrastinate, just ask this. It cuts right through all the emotional drama and gives you a clear, immediate action plan. And then you just do that thing.
All right, so we've covered your environment and your mindset. This final rule, Rule 3, brings it all together into daily execution. This is about taking those massive, intimidating ambitions and making them totally manageable. You know, overwhelm is the #1 killer of action. Staring at a massive goal like build an empire is just paralyzing. So you shrink the battlefield. Forget about winning your life this week. Just focus on winning the next few hours. Instead of that huge, scary question, you ask a small, actionable one. What is the one critical thing I must get done right now?
And on that smaller battlefield, you have to redefine what a win even looks like. A win for the day isn't about getting a perfect outcome. It's much simpler. It's about execution. Did you keep the promise you made to yourself? Did you show up and do the work? If the answer is yes, that's a win. You mark it down and you move on.
Now, the long-term effect of this is absolutely profound. By rewarding the behavior, the discipline itself, you are slowly but surely rewiring your brain. You start to actually get a kick out of the process of execution, not just the dopamine spike you get at the very end. And that is how you build consistency that actually sticks.
Let's wrap up with a hard truth. If you struggle with discipline, it is not because you are a lazy person. That is a myth. It's because your mind has been conditioned over years and years to seek comfort. Laziness isn't a personality trait, it's just a conditioned response.
And here's the good news, the great news actually. Anything that has been programmed can be reprogrammed. You have the power to override that old code that defaults to comfort. You can install a new program, one that defaults to your standards. But nobody else can do this for you. You have to be the one to enforce your own potential.
So let's just lead it with this. This is the only question that really matters now. Forget about how you feel. Forget about motivation. Just ask yourself, what would the person I want to become do in this exact moment? Then go and do that thing immediately. That is how you win.